Kwee, all yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Basically, today we're talking about LHU. Okay, anything about Lingzi, basically the key word is to install our balance, our body balance. So maybe people may wondering, saying that why our product called LHU, and sometimes in Taiwan we also can see YKU. Basically also sometimes we call it 终极灵芝. So this is a tree name. Okay, the reason is that you look at LH is Li Hong, is coming from the factory of Li Hong. And in Taiwan, basically is a YK. YK is a YK factory, Yongqian factory. So the reason is that, Shuang Hor getting more product. I think the factory is overloaded. So Shuang Hor decided to open another factories in Taipei. So it's called Li Hong. So this Lingzi is produced there. So Shuang Hor like to put the factory name in front, so we call LHU. So actually it's the same as YKU, and Chinese we call it 终极灵芝. Okay, just a bit of maybe you have a bit of query on this, just to summarize a bit. Okay, maybe next page. And okay, I think this is a question that we need to point, basically given us, every one of you all. How to identify are we really healthy? Because normally is that as long as a lot of people think that as long as doctor never say that I need to take medications or diagnose any illness, I consider healthy. But really a healthy person comes from a few aspects. I think the important is that physically we need to ask ourselves these few questions. Do we feel very easily fatigued? That means that we get tired easily. Or are we, after a long hour of rest, for example, 7 hour, 8 hour, when you wake up in the morning, you already feel very tired. This remind me about like a battery, a new battery, but after charges you can use a long time. But those battery that after a long time of usage, you found that when you charge take long time, however, it discharge very fast. So this is something that kind of experience, if you feel it, that means that you are really not really truly healthy. Another third is that difficulty in concentrating. Okay, how you feel is that sometimes I don't know whether experience, sometimes you feel very irritated, your body very irritated, you cannot concentrate, or you concentrate for a while, you feel very uneasy, all these things. This is also a symptom that is not truly healthy. Okay, especially when Chinese say, 中医 say 火, 肝火旺. Okay, 火, in other words, you look at it, you may treat as a inflammation. So if your body starts to have this difficulty in concentration, in other words, to say that your body internally may have some inflammation. Okay, of course, the other thing that you found that you think you cannot do before, now getting harder. That means that those things that you can do before now feeling harder. For example, you can play overnight, you can play mahjong. Now you cannot really. You cannot play until 2 a.m. You totally switch off. So things that you can do before, but now you find very harder to do it. Or your stamina getting decreased. That means that you found that you have no more energy. Like last time you can stay for maybe quite a long while, but now you can't. This is the question that we ask ourselves, truly ask ourselves. If we found that basically got this type of symptom, then basically we are enter into what we call sub health. Okay, next, thanks. So this is the fact that most of us are not truly healthy. Important is that a lot of time when we say healthy or not healthy is as long as you have no medication, no hospitalization, you go see blood test report, everything look healthy, everything in the all the pointer in the normal zone. So you feel very healthy. But I can encounter a group of people, although you do a medical checkup, everything is okay. Everything is okay. But the problem now is that why he go medical checkup? Because he himself feel that he got illness. But after do a full checkup, the doctor say, congratulations, you are healthy. Then the group of friends, one of my friends say that I feel even more lost. Because if doctor say I got certain illness, I still can take medicine. But now I can't take medicine because doctor say I'm healthy, but I don't feel that I'm healthy. So this is there's mean that you don't have hospitalization, no medication, even doctor say you're fully healthy, doesn't mean you're healthy. So a lot of being diagnosed one, you can consider about 10% to 15% according to WHO, World Health Organization. Then along 70 or 80% is considered sub-health. In WHO, what he define of healthy, not only physical healthy, emotional, that means that you need healthy, and social healthy. These are three aspects: social, physical, and emotion. These three must be healthy before you can classify that you are healthy. So from them, basically they classify about 70% of people are considered as sub-health. So it's basically a body internally is having some type of unbalance, and this will create a lot of symptoms but not classify health. Classify illness first. So important is we need to acknowledge is that even doctor don't say that we are got illness doesn't mean we are healthy. Based on the previous slide, as a checking master, as a check to ask ourselves this question. If you a lot of things tick, wow, that means that we need to acknowledge that we are approaching illness, but not yet. How we going to balance it, how we going to reverse it is important. Okay, next. Okay, one of the key words that our modern lifestyle is basically accelerate this process. Like what do you mean a modern lifestyle? You know, nowadays all the transport is very advanced. We walk lesser. Also, sometimes the workload is heavy and feel the stress level is going higher. The food that we take is more good food. That means that instead of nutrition aspect also getting lesser. So these three aspect of thing is not today, one day will cause it. It's an accumulation of getting day by day. Basically, they start accumulated, and eventually we'll start to feel that why even initially we feel fatigue eventually, but however you can recovery back after maybe 1 or 2 day rest. But slowly you're getting this process getting more and more. It means that when we walk lesser, the strength we're getting lesser, the muscle mass we're getting lesser. One key thing important is that why muscle mass loss at the age, definitely muscle mass will lose faster as compared to maybe before 30. But the key word is that if we constantly go and maintain it, muscle mass loss will get slower or it will get slower. The problem now is that our lifestyle. We walk less, we sit after taking our lunch of a dinner, we seldom go walking, we lie in the computer or watch TV, all these things. These are type of health lifestyle that normal people having now, majority of the people having now. So less exercise, this will cause the deterioration of this process. And all this will also trigger, eventually may trigger a tree high, and tree high eventually will cause chronic fatigue to be even worse and muscle mass to lose even more. Later we'll talk more about that. Okay, next, thanks. So the biggest problem is not illness. So we need to acknowledge 70% is the sub-health. So important is that how we bring back to healthy. It's not about illness. So majority of the problem we need to handle now, 70% of the people is not about illness, is how our modern life style, stress level cause our body to get imbalanced. So important is how we can slowly gain back our balance is more important. Okay, next. Okay, one thing among so many questionnaire that we just ask ourselves, I think one key thing is the fatigue. That means that our body's strongest warning signal. Okay, a lot of people when facing this, okay, initially a lot of people facing this, then they will actually it's the normal for people, human psychology. People say that, oh, I feel tired, basically I have too much work. Maybe last night I'm not sleep well enough. Getting old. This one is the most common one. You ask majority of people, yeah lah, old already lah, it's like that one lah. Old already is like that one. Until I think last Saturday, if you attend yesterday, so our training, our OPP section, they will see a video. Our gold diamond, 80 years old, Anthony Lim. He run the staircase. I think nearly 100 step of staircase. and he can run out and wow, still feel energetic. So what 80 years old can do that? So we have no excuse saying that we're getting old and feel tired. So I think one keyword is always is we try to cycle ourselves in such a way that thinking whatever happened to us is a normal process, but it may not be the case. So this thing we need to acknowledge. It may not be the case. So it actually indicate what? Indicate that basically our metabolism getting a lot slower, recovery ability getting lower, and the energy usage. That means that the usage getting worse. Just like our battery, you can fully charge it, but use less, but because of efficiency is getting lower. So we need to acknowledge that. That means that when we feel that our body getting easy, get tired, we need to acknowledge to find out the reason. Yeah, because in Chinese perspective, is that as long as your internal toxic is high, you can imagine a bit. Our body is really is a regulator. Is our body tries to regulate ourselves to create a balance in our body. So if our body toxic is high, that means that our body will try their best to get rid of the toxic. This will trigger energy usage. So when the energy is trying to get rid of this toxic, less energy for our normal routine. So this is why you feel tired. This is you can from this aspect to look at it. That means that our body try to use all their energy to get rid of the toxic. This is why we get tired easily. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. So you see now I think this I said before and now because as long as you can recover quickly after exercise, you stay up late and still manage. But now you still tired after sleeping, hard to regain focus after a busy day, mental energy and physical strength doesn't fully return. So this is something that we may take a look. So reduced recovery ability basically is our decrease our body regulating capability. This is the you need to acknowledge that is that due to that. Because as long as our body recovery ability is low, that means that this energy must be used by somewhere else. As okay, either we taking a food is not a healthy food, or the taking a food the energy is not strong good, or either we take assume we take everything is the same throughout daily by daily basis, and you're having this sort of symptom, that means that our body energy is used in other means. Majority of them are used in remove toxic. This is why we are unable to regulate our body enough. Okay, next. Okay, I think one of the keyword is chronic inflammation increase. Okay, inflammation, this is one of the keyword. Okay, what is inflammation? Just now, as I mentioned, in Chinese term is 火, fire. Actually, 肝火旺. Okay, you see, if Chinese always say 肝火旺, liver fire lah, is strong. So when your liver fire strong, the people will get more what? More angry easily, you feel uneasy, you cannot sit. That means that you can't feel concentration. You can't concentrate. So this is the keyword because as long as your body is in chronic inflammation, what will happen? A lot of things will happen. First thing is that your body will create a lot of free radical. Okay, and these free radical eventually will go and damage our body cells or interrupt our recovery process. Free radical is very good at what? Destroy, okay, or damage our cell, or basically interrupt the metabolism process, especially recovering process. So as long as inflammation occurs, free radical will increase. This is definite. Okay, inflammation, free radical increase, body recovering system will get weaker because you will slowly keep on going, interrupt, and your cell become less efficient at using energy. Because there's an interruption process, so our cell very difficult to get enough energy. Sometimes free radical will also damage the cell structures. So metabolism definitely will start to slow down. And all this process, that means that your toxic cannot get rid. Imagine we constantly input more toxic and our body not enough to get rid of the toxic. the chronic inflammation will never be stopped. It keep on increasing. So this will cause a bad effect. That means that our body will keep on getting weaker, keep on interrupt. Chronic inflammation will cause our body keep on interrupt, and eventually this chain effect will getting worse and worse. This is why important is that if you start to feel fatigue, that means that important is that we examine, are we getting worse? If you can recover within a few days and feel energetic, that is okay. If your fatigue constantly, day by day, sometimes even drag month by month, then you need to be aware about it. Okay, thanks. Okay, the first thing to age isn't because our nature we age, but your body itself. That means that you go and measure some of the machine, old sim, those some machine go and measure. Some of them you indicate you are, for example, 55 years old for me. You may indicate that, wow, you become 65 years old. So your metabolism, your body, internal clock, internal weight, your age doesn't mean your physical age. So important is not about your physical age. You may physically maybe 70, but your internal look 40, 50. I think this is what we need to be happy. So nowadays, I think they start to acknowledge, especially the immune system. They also not tie to your physical age. They also tie to immuno age. That means that your immune system, they detect your immune system, the basically is the T cell. They basically use a T cell as an indicator to indicate how old your immune system is. So basically, this is what doctor now try to classify our body system. That means your internally, your metabolism considered what is the age of, it's not about your physical, it's about your body age. Also your immune system. They start to tag along all these things because start to acknowledge that your internal age is much more important as you consider your physical. Okay, thanks. Next. Okay. Sarcopenia. Sarcopenia. Okay, basically is what your muscle mass is getting loss of your muscle mass. A lot of people say that already we'll have this thing but nowadays a lot of people start this term of sarcopenia. I think start to getting more and more what I can say aware by many people. Yeah, nowadays last time I didn't heard about this term. No. Recently, even I go around, a lot of people talk about this term because this term is basically indicate that our muscle mass basically getting lesser. However, the reason is because our less physical activity, our lifestyle causes a little physical activity, and eating out, which is normally not considered healthy as compared to what we cook, and also high stress, and all this accelerate the muscle mass loss. So the important is that when you, this is always a chain effect one, because when your muscle mass less, that means you start to, once you walk the same distance, your muscle will start to have stress. That means when muscle stress is too high, basically can become muscle knot. And muscle knot, all this may trigger inflammation. Inflammation eventually will also trigger the process of muscle mass to lose more. So basically, it's just a chain effect. So important is that we need to acknowledge it and try to get rid of it. Important is that I think is lifestyle need to be changed. Yeah. Just like this weakening mood earlier. So this weakening mood, just like I said, is a chain effect. So important is that we need to be aware and adjust our lifestyle and try not to enter this negative chain effect. If not, once the chain effect getting amplified, getting higher and higher, it's more difficult to get out. Okay, next. Okay, I think this just to highlight more about why we lost our muscle mass more easy. As just now I mentioned, you sitting too much, moving too little. Because our muscle is like that, you need to build it. Okay, muscle is a conscious effort to build it. Fats it is basically given by nature. It's not you eat, your fat will come to you. Sitting much, sitting more, eating less, eating more. That means that you rest more, eat more, then of course fats will come to you. Muscle will say bye-bye to you. So poor nutrient use, because build muscle, you need a nutrients. Yeah, you need a good nutrients in order protein. You see those build muscle always eat protein, right? Because the protein is the one to build the muscle. So nutrient is important. Even you intend to build muscle, the nutrient is also important. Yeah, but it's a change. It's a thing. Just as I think keyword to highlight is that chronic fatigue and slow metabolism will cause inflammation. Inflammation will even cause muscle mass to loss even further. So it's not about what you eat, it's about what your body can hold on to it. And important is our modern lifestyle. And hence we need to always say that we come on and move on to do a bit of exercise, at least make our muscle, strengthen our muscle, and eat good nutrients so that basically you make the process of build muscle easier. Yeah. As long as the muscle build up, metabolism will increase. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, this one is to illustrate even more, just now as I mentioned, the chain effect. Once your muscle mass drop, the metabolism will get lower. It's always like that. Muscle mass lower, metabolism lower, fats will start to accumulate. Because, okay, assume we're eating the same thing. We're eating the same thing, the muscle mass loss, our metabolism get a lot lesser, fats will start to accumulate because of less metabolism, and fats accumulate, getting more and more toxic, getting higher and higher, risk of tree high will be increased. So a lot of people say that, hey, when I age, I eat the same thing, why I getting fatter and fatter? The reason is when we getting older, our muscle, if we don't do this exercise, that means that our muscle mass will getting lower, lesser. It's not muscle mass getting lesser, metabolism will getting lower. This is a correlationship. This is so muscle mass lower, metabolism low. Whatever we eat, the same thing, we cannot decompose. That means get rid of all the energy to get rid of it. Then the fats will accumulate. Then the fats accumulate. Then we eating the same thing again. The fats are getting more and more, and this will cause a risk of tree high. Okay, next. So behind the tree high is basically is a decrease of the regulation. A lot of people say that tree high, living high, never mind lah. But I think the important is that it's not about the tree high. It's about our body loss of balance in regulating something. So for for the sugar, basically is to reduce ability to use the glucose. That means our cell need energy. So basically, when our body got sugar, then our body system will try to regulate it and shift it to our cell to let our cell have enough energy. So if the blood sugar is very high in the blood, that means that this regulation process is lost. It's lost somewhere somehow. Okay, then the blood lipid is the important is our body system is this ability to metabolism the fats. For example, you know our body got HDL and LDL. LDL basically is to shift cholesterol towards on the blood vessel, and HDL is to carry it back from the blood vessel to our liver, eventually go to our small intestine and decompose out, pass out. So basically, this is the nature process. So in our body system, our cholesterol we need because our cell rebuild our cell, we need cholesterol. Our brain also need it. So in order to say that a lot of lipid protein will need to carry our body system, this cholesterol among our body, and our liver is the one that to regulate our cholesterol. Because for example, when we intake less cholesterol, our liver will produce enough to balance our whole system. So in other words, to say that if you have high lipid problem, that means that the regulations reduce the ability of metabolism of this regulation of cholesterol in the blood. That means that either our liver got issue or basically all the sensor around our body system got issue. Okay, blood pressure. That means it's to regulate the blood pressure in our body system. So as long as there's a sensor, majority there's a sensor in our body, normally in the kidney portion. So there's a sensor. So when they sense that your blood pressure is on the low side, because it need a pressure to move the blood. So it thought that your blood pressure is too low, so you pump up the pressure, instruct your brain to pump up the pressure. So your brain will instruct all your blood vessels to squeeze. That means your blood vessel become very tight a bit so that the pressure will go higher. So all these are regulations. So the sensor play a part. So the sensor sense that your blood pressure is low. In order to catch up the thing, to make the blood move smoothly, this will trigger the process. So that means that either the sensor got issue or the sensor through your brain, the process got issue and thought that your pressure is on the low, however you are normal pressure. And this trigger the process of getting high blood pressure. This is the reason, one of the most critical reason that why our pressure go high. So maybe it's a sensor and the sensor process sometimes got issue. So it's not about tree high, it's about our body regulation process got issue. And once our regulation process got issue, it will cause other issue. For example, immune system. Immune system is also a regulation balancing system. Immune system can be too high. If too high, you got allergy. Too low, basically can get sick easily. So regulation in our body system is always there. It's just this, if these three high indicate there's these three regulation system got issue. And these three regulation issue does, it will eventually tell you that your body other part slowly or later will have issue too if we don't address this. Okay, next. Okay, this is a good picture that I always love very much because this will let you see if we don't do anything what happens to our blood vessel. So on the top, you see a healthy blood vessel, everyone live very happily, red blood cell flow around happily. But if you had high blood lipid, then you see that there's a lot of accumulation facts. One thing take note is that then your blood vessel getting thinner. The blood vessel, the pipe getting thinner because a lot of fats being accumulated. Then if blood sugar basically is a high content. It's like a broken glass. This is important, like a broken glass. So when it flow through the blood vessel, what happens? You will cut, just like a glass. You will cut your blood vessel. This will cause what? Cause your blood vessel to injure. When injured, what happens? Free radical will come. So sooner or later, the blood vessel may get what? Hardening. So one thing is that the blood vessel may get thinner. Second, the blood vessel may get hardened. Third, because of this process, then the blood flow through is not smooth, and this trigger pressure to go high. Our brain will trigger that pressure go high and try to force through. When you want to force through a blood vessel that thin and injured, hardened blood vessel, what is the chances that you burst? One is burst, that means it's become a very critical conditions. Basically, if you burst in your brain, it becomes stroke. In the heart, it's heart attack. Or in the blockage, is heart attack. So this is two most important things. So don't look at these three high only. Basically, look at the blood vessel. This diagram really explain in long term what will happen to us. So normally, doctor will associate three high with what? Stroke, also three high with cardiovascular problem. This is why it's a reason. Okay, next. Okay, so in the summary is that when you see the system, actually is our body regulation ability start to get lower. Yeah. So some of the questions we ask ourselves is, why am I more tired lately? Any difference? Why is my strength decreasing? Why is my number getting worse? Okay, all these questions you ask yourself is, are we recently or you getting worse and worse? If getting worse and worse, I think we need to trigger alarm. Or somehow you're getting worse and suddenly become better, That means that our body is still able to regulate it. Happen to be that a few days you may be under a lot of stress, and this trigger this a bit of unbalance. But eventually, our body system still can regulate back. It's okay. But important is that if we getting worse and worse, that means our body start to not be able to catch up with the workload. Then this is the thing we need to be aware. Yeah. So I think the real question is, can our body still regulate itself? This is the question we should ask ourselves. Yeah, I think the question is always ask ourselves, whether our body still can regulate itself is, are we getting worse and worse? Is sometimes getting worse, sometimes feel better, only a few days work, then come back. That one still consider okay. Okay, next. Okay, then a lot of people try to improve what? Improve the symptom. Then what they'll take supplement, they'll drink energy booster product like Red Bull. Red Bull. Wow, one drink, wow, feel energy. So I thought that it's okay. Yeah, only focus on single nutrients. That means they focus on symptom. So the important is that you don't focus on symptom. The focus is that the root cause. And the root cause is the regulation system got issue. It's an imbalance of the regulation system. It's not about symptom. The symptom is an effect of the imbalance of the regulation system. So we need to address the root cause. That means how we regulate back our regulation system, make our regulation system back to balance. Okay, next. So as I when I say our body really need a regulation system. Okay, not just to suppress the symptom, is about regulation. That means that we need to have a cellular regulation, recovery ability, blood balancing, and metabolism balance. We need to gain it back. Yeah, modern people don't really need more supplement. They need to help our body to regulate itself again. So we no longer do a symptom treatment. Important, regulate back our system. As long as we give our system enough good stuff, I say good stuff, our body, because of self-healing ability, so our body will heal ourselves. The important is that what we give to our body is important. Okay, next. Okay, now basically I go introduce you our product. Basically we talk about our body system in regulations, imbalancing. We need to gain it back. Then first thing is that we introduce LHU Ganoderma. As long as you know Ganoderma product is very good at regulation our body system. Yeah, by enhance our self-healing ability. This is the key word of Ganoderma. So it's just not a supplement. It's help our body return back to balance. Basically, LHU can able help us to fight fatigue. Basically, also can fight the tree high and also fight the muscle loss. Okay, next. So what is the key of LHU Ganoderma? Basically, important one of the key components is Ganoderma peptide. Okay, basically, what is peptide? Peptide is as long we know that protein is a long chain amino acid. Yeah, long chain. That means that it's under, you can look at it, it's a long chain. That means that it's a very long type of series in chemical term. But peptide is a short chain amino acid, very short, only a few. So Ganoderma peptide have been over 100 types of short chain active peptide. So what basically all the just now we mentioned about the balancing, all these things happen that a lot of Ganoderma peptide, all these short chain basically active peptide have been proven that actually it can help to regulate our body system. Yeah. So maybe go to the next to explain a bit more. So this is an illustration of the mechanism of peptide. Okay, peptide, as I mentioned just now, basically it's a small chain, short chain. That means it's a small molecular. So when it's small molecular, our so-called small intestine easily can absorb. Once it absorb in, basically can bind with the cell receptor. That means that our cell, everyone got receive. You can receive a recipient. So when you go in, basically all the different type of peptide will be held in different type of cell. So when you bind about it, so your bind will support the physiological function. Okay, we call it regulations. And eventually, once your cell being regulated, your body will go back to balance. This is the general rule. That means that you see our system are formed by the cell. So as long as your cell is being regulated, basically our body system will start to be balanced. The regulation system will come back to balance. So we always talk about 灵芝, we all talk about cell level. So as long as we help the cell, because our system is formed by, our organ is formed by cell. So everything is formed by cell. So when your cell getting better, our organ function getting better, our whole metabolism system, our whole regulation system will get better. So this is how this peptide eventually will help in regulation of system. Okay, next. So 5 key area of experimental validation. Okay, in this, just now we spoke about LHU. It basically 5 areas. Blood sugar regulation, blood lipid regulation, blood pressure regulation. We talk about 3 high. Anti-fatigue, that means is the most important because everything starts from there. As long as you feel quite okay, energetic, basically that means that your body are able to detox the thing, and your body, the cell healing ability is there. Yeah. Anti-sarcopenia. Sarcopenia. That means that your muscle mass will getting strengthened back. I think this is all the chain effect. This is not a single thing. It's as long as our body able to do a regulation system, balancing a regulation system, especially our body can get rid of the toxic enough. That means that our body able to get rid of the toxic enough. That means our body system will get it back, and all these things will eventually be regulated. Okay, next. I think this is a GLP lab, GLP laboratory validation. GLP is important because GLP is a world recognized lab. Okay, this laboratory, as long as your GLP cert, that means a worldwide recognize that this type of experiment. Okay, what is this experiment do? They purposely go and increase the toxic and cause the mice, basically the pancreas cell, to under damage. So you look at the picture, not taking LHU, you look at the picture, the cell is being damaged. And by damage, the pancreas cell, basically pancreas is used to emit insulin. Therefore, insulin getting concentration getting lower. Just like on the left, you see that the insulin concentration getting lower. However, by taking LHU, you look at the cell structure itself, the pancreas cell is getting more completed. That means that LHU, to this experiment, we show that as long as even we are damaging our pancreas cell, by taking LHU, our cell can recover much faster and more complete and improve the structures. This is to indicate that actually the LHU able to increase and reconstruct back the pancreas cell, which will help in blood sugar. Insulin eventually has blood sugar. This is one of the keywords to tell us that actually why LHU able to help in diabetes. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. Basically, this experiment is to show you the high blood lipid. Okay. You look at the mice with high fats diet. Okay, on the center picture, not taking LHU, you see a lot of white spot. White spot, all this is an indicator of the fats. By taking LHU, less fats being decomposition. So this, you look at the top chart, total cholesterol is dropped after taking LHU, and triglycerides also drop. One thing important good news to people that like to eat good food and afraid that your body weight is increasing by taking LHU, there's an indicator that although you taking a high fat food, the chances that you grow weight, you see the center one is without taking LHU, your weight may gain about 30 to 40%. However, taking LHU, you only gain by 10%. That means that LHU able to cause a reduce in weight. If you basically taking the same diet, of course, you're not going to purposely take the high fat diet. You're constantly taking what diet you have with LHU, potentially your weight will be dropped. Because due to this experiment, we have found that LHU able to regulate our body fats, to remove the fats. Eventually, basically, will cause our weight to be decreased. Okay, this is one of the good news for people. Also for me. Okay, next. Okay, this one is talk about hypertension. Okay, 这个是 hereditary. That means that you're born, you're basically genetic one. Okay, this is important, genetic hypertension. That means that you see by taking the LHU, you are able to lower your hypertension, especially genetic. Genetic hypertension is the most difficult to lower because it's come from the genes. So a gene tendency, that means your sensor is not that good. Imagine you're inborn with not a good sensor. So your sensor will tend to say that your pressure is on the low side, ask you to increase the pressure. So this is a genetic issue. That means the sensor is not that good. However, LHU, even we born with not a good sensor, you are able to help you to improve the sensor ability. So this is one of the good news, very, very good news to me, that because this is what I believe the doctor can't do anything. Because the doctor really can't do much, especially for genetic issue. But LHU really can help even in genetic thing. So this is what I found that is very amazing. Okay, next. Okay, just now we talked about 3 high. And now we need to talk about another 2 things is anti-fatigue. Yeah. Okay. One thing important, these 3 amino acid. What is these 3 amino acid? Basically, it's talk about energy. When these 3 increase, your energy level will increase. You know about Red Bull, right? Red Bull is basically contain all these amino acid. So we contain amino acid. So you drink Red Bull, give you this amino acid. Eventually, you will trigger the process and you feel more energy. But the problem is that you are leveraged for external source. Your whole body system. So it give temporary effect. Red Bull will give you temporary effect. It's not about your body regulation system that raise this thing. So important is that LHU, by taking this, you look at it, LHU don't contain these 3 amino acid. The keyword, LHU don't contain amino acid. But after taking the LHU, it can increase these 3 amino acid. Why? Because these 3 amino acid, the energy amino acid, basically most of them are produced by what? Produced by liver, synthesized by the liver. So when your liver is a keyword of the metabolism process. So when your liver is good, your liver cell is good, basically they can regulate it better, it can produce this as per need. So this is why when our regulation system is good, especially our liver, these 3 amino acids, these 3 protein that belong to energy level will increase because when our body need the energy, he will give it to us. So this is why increase when even our LHU don't contain this amino acid. Okay, on the right, IL-6. IL-6 basically is the inflammation index. If our body got inflammation, IL-6 will get higher. So IL-6 cause inflammation, eventually will cause muscle mass to be get lesser. And muscle mass get lesser, our body, because of there's a free radical, our body cell regulation will get very disrupted, and eventually our regulation system may affected. So lower the IL-6 eventually will help a lot of things. Not only about fight the fatigue, it also eventually will help our cell regulation process to easier to get back to balance. So you look at this chart, basically you see without LHU, the inflammation index is getting higher. But again, LHU, the higher the dose you take, your basically IL-6 getting lower, eventually when you get back to normal. Okay, all these things is the trigger one. Trigger, for example, what they do, the experiment is got the mice, you go and purposely trigger the IL-6 to be high, and basically they're taking LHU to see whether they can bring it down. The good news is that you can bring it down. Once you bring it down, you will bring down the free radical, you will lesser our oxidative stress in our body, and this will cause a less interrupt to the regulation system and easy for regulation system get back to normal. Okay, next. Okay, this also just now talking about one is anti-fatigue, the other one is sarcopenic.
Sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia. Okay, my wife is my English dictionary. Okay, sarcopenia. So you look at this chart. Okay, this is basically is to trigger the IL-6 or long term. Then you will look at there's a severe muscle damage by not taking LHU. But if taking LHU, the muscle tissue will be more complete. Yeah. So this is important. So this is an indicator that IL-6 will continue to trigger our system, our cause inflammation, eventually will cause a severe muscle damage. It's one of the problems. By LHU, by reduce IL-6, eventually you will see is more, the damage that it causes will be less, and the muscle tissue is more complete. Also, this test, eventually they come out with an experiment, the weight, you can grab the weight, how much you can grab it. So under normal circumstances, you grab basically 130 grams. But once you induce it, then cause a muscle mass to have a severe damage, then basically you can see the weight from 130 drop until nearly 100. By taking LHU, you can get it back to about 120. So this is important to indicate that for people that sarcopenia, basically is that by taking the LHU, the symptom will get better. Yeah, I think the important is it will reduce the IL-6, also reduce the inflammation. And this will eventually help in the whole process. And LHU basically is a short chain amino acid. It's a peptide, and it basically 100 different peptide. Eventually, you bind with our cell and basically improve our cell health and eventually regulate our body system. Okay, next. So I think there's a testimonial from Taiwan. Okay, basically it's a Missling, 32 years old, long-term low back pain causes insomnia, because with back pain sometimes you can't feel sleep. You can't sleep well. Try a lot of method, cannot improve. Taking LHU 1 to 2 sachet. After finish a box, which is a 10 sachet about 10 days, she noticed a clear improvement. Okay, basically he tried a lot of method, painkiller, massage, acupuncture, injection. They do a lot of things, but does not cause the improvement. Until we take the LHU 1 to 2 sachet, pain relief within 1 week. That means it takes about 7 days. Then you start to feel significant improvement after finish one box. Then he participate in a 2-day hiking trip. Wow, 10 of thousands of steps, without any muscle soreness. So his colleague, basically is a male, on the same hiking track, experienced back pain and even inflammation. So this is the indicator that actually is important. That means that your muscle, why you feel muscle tight and pain, because your muscle mass getting lesser. That means that your your muscle are not able to sustain. So your muscle stress is high. So if your muscles start to improve, basically your symptoms will start to go. Yeah. So you have to maintain the energy on the workday, overcome the Monday blue. Okay, Monday blue, I think will come more severe if you feel tired. If you feel energetic, Monday blue, I don't think it's an issue for us. Okay, next. Okay, this is another testimonial. They talk about basically genetic hypertension improvement. So systolic blood pressure can go up until 200. 200 is very, very high. Normal is about less than 140. Yeah. Of course, if you dizziness, ear got sound, heart discomfort, medication alone does not help much. As I mentioned, genetic hypertension normally medications is not very effective. So in February to April 2024, basically he take Yongkian I and Yongkian S the medication together because one important
LHU
还没有这边还没有这边才 Okay, you take this Yongkian I and Yongkian S and medication, the systolic drop to 150 or 160. So Yongkian S, as what Chinese always say, 补肾里面有 kidney 啦。It will help in kidney, it will help in blood pressure. This is what the Chinese always say. So by taking Yongkian S, basically the blood pressure getting lower. Then after he taking LHU on July 2024, 1 to 2 sachet on top of I and S. After taking 2 months, the blood pressure stabilized about 130, which is good news, less than 140, and sometimes close to 120. Overall, basically, it's improved. Overall condition is improved. So this is the 2 testimonial about LHU. Okay, next. So actually, most people today really need this. We don't need to be stuck to sick then try to manage our health. We should manage our health as soon as possible. Yeah. Who need office worker who always feel fatigued, very feel tired? People who eat out very frequent or have irregular lifestyle, or basically those like sedentary individual. That means that basically everything sit and rest more. Yeah, and seldom have physical and exercise. And people who recovery getting slower, don't worry about tree high, and people who want to prevent issue and start early management. Yeah, it's basically, I can say that almost for everyone. Okay, next. So, the real issue now is not about the sudden illness, it's a gradual loss of balance. So, choose the right direction is important. So, important is to regulate our system and not wait for illness to come and then try to gain it back. Okay, I always believe when there's a small imbalance, you move it back is easy. Just like, for example, you assume at the center we are normal. So you try to move a bit, unbalance a bit, try to move it back, it's easy. If you start to fall more than 45 degrees, you want to pull it back, sometimes it's not that easy. Then sometimes even he may drop completely. So the issue is that we try to, a little bit of imbalance, try to regain the balance as soon as possible. And take a bit of Ganoderma eventually can help you to balance a bit. Every day a bit is okay. Rather than say when it comes to 45 degrees, you want to use high dose of the Ganoderma to push it back. If you are lucky, yes. If you are not lucky, sometimes may not be able to get it back. Okay, next. So LHU, in my view, is a must-have for modern people. Okay, if you are taking Ganoderma Lingzi for health maintenance, I suggest you on top of it take LHU 2 sachets a day to supplement on it to let your body system even get much more better. Yeah, balance it back to balance. I strongly believe 70%, the majority of us, somehow, somewhere, due to workload or due to family, due to whatever reason, sometimes somewhere you feel stressed. So when stressed, our bodies tend to be a bit unbalanced. So by regularly taking LHU, you are more tolerate to this unbalance and will not get worse. So maintenance is important. Slowly maintain your body system will get more strengthened. The balancing system will get better. Okay, with this, I think I end my sharing. Yeah, thank you for your time.